It's a little green to it. It's fine.
Oh, quick small review before we do the big review. I watched Killers of the Flower Moon, 7.5 from me. You all would probably give it a 1.
A 1?
You all would not like it.
I feel like it's gonna be like Gone with the
That's
Wind.
crazy.
It's 3.5 hours long.
I know
It's
like,
a lot of DiCaprio.
Hey, but so here's real quick on the podcast. I will say I don't care for Scorsese, but the movies I often do like from him are the Leo combos, not the Nero combos.
And also, Lily Gladstone is way overrated in this movie.
Well, that's why she didn't
way
win the award,
overrated.
and that's why I'm a still.
Honestly, I don't think she did. I haven't seen Poor Things yet, so.
Oh well.
But
Don't worry,
Lily Gladstone,
you
there's
will.
only so many times you can see somebody cry to be like, okay,
Yeah.
we know you can do that. What else you got?
Yeah.
The One Trick Pony.
Yeah, kind of like the scenes where like actors get awards just for yelling and like
Oh, yeah.
like just
Like Dennis
being
and
angry.
Blackberry.
Yeah.
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 Snubbed. Absolutely snubbed.
Absolutely.
Absolutely snubbed. Welcome to a very green episode of the Effin' Movie Podcast, not by Nathan's choice. He would prefer it not be.
Why I
Yeah. Anyway, we're your hosts, Bryce, Nathan, Dylan, and Mason, actually in that order. And today,
Dylan, what are we talking about today?
thank you for that setup. We're talking about Money Plane. I wish I could say it with the cadence that they do.
Money Plane.
Money Plane.
Money Plane. Dude, I'll get into that in a
I
second.
think that's gonna be another quote that's actually gonna live on, like the wolf and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, Money Plane.
I
Money
mean,
Plane.
you all really put a lot of emphasis on that. They only say it like a couple of
They
times.
do.
But-
It's only when he's like introducing.
It's
Yeah.
introducing
the
it
heist.
while
Yeah.
they're onto it, but every time they say it in such a way.
They do.
Like,
They don't
there's
say
a-
like it's the Money Plane. It's
Yeah.
like the Money Plane.
They put there are dollar signs behind the pronunciation of Money Plane. Like
Yeah.
they do make it sound very, I don't know, sexy. Anyways, what is Money Plane about? I mean, really, I think it kind of says it right there.
It's a classic heist movie.
A classic,
Classic.
a modern classic heist movie.
Think of if you wrote a heist movie, it would end up being like this heist movie.
But you got
Yeah,
but you got hit in the head with a frying pan, and you
Yeah.
exclusively casted people that you remembered from the 70s.
Whoa, Kelsey Grammer on the
And
Tony
your
Room.
budget is like $10,000.
10,000 maybe.
With $9,900 going to the cast.
Yeah.
And you had just seen The Punisher, and you said, "I need that man in this movie."
They really
somewhere.
did bring Thomas Jane
You
into
did?
this unnecessarily. That could have been any other
That was
guy.
the second best role I've ever seen him in.
I did not realize that was him until the credits.
His
Because like
voice.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why is
yeah.
Thomas Jane
Yeah, I
a
mean,
big
I
deal?
didn't-
The Punisher. What else?
Whoa.
Whoa, the Punisher.
But people online, like on Reddit, were talking
I'm sorry,
about
did you
Thomas
not play
Jane.
the
I'm like,
Punisher video game? He
Yeah.
was a voice actor
He
of
was
the
a voice-
Punisher video game.
The Dirty Laundry video, which you guys haven't watched on YouTube, which is
oh
absolutely
yeah,
worth
the,
it.
the
Yeah,
cutscene.
yeah, it's like a 20-minute little mini film.
but Dylan, what
Yeah.
is this movie actually about?
So this movie is the best way to describe this is it's a classic modern, heist film where Adam Copeland, who some of you guys may know better as Edge from WWE,
just
like
Edge.
the
Yeah.
Is that a
whole
real
time,
guy?
I was just
Edge?
like, this,
yeah,
like
is a real person.
I
active in
couldn't
this movie.
remember who he was,
Yeah.
but I was just like, this guy is a wrestler.
He
He
looks
is a
like
wrestler.
a wrestler. Okay,
Even
that
if
makes
he's
sense.
not a wrestler, he has the look of a wrestler.
He's got
which
his,
is really
his like
strange.
face is so like
Chiseled.
Yeah,
chiseled.
long-term
Just-
long-term wrestling legend Edge, not known for his acting career.
I had no idea he was actually famous.
As soon as I
surprise.
saw him, I was just like, that's Edge. And because I was a wrestling nerd growing up on it. So anyway, Edge is a professional gambler / also former probably SEAL. They never really clarify what exactly he was, but he was former military, which lets him be a professional gambler and a spy espionage agent.
Yeah.
Because that's what the movie needed from him.
Yeah.
Mostly.
That's what we were given.
And he's way over his head because of all these debts that we aren't shown, but he made some drastic mistakes for thinking with his head, not his gut, back in the gambling day.
And always having a plan B.
And I
Yes.
love how they just like the characterization. They just say it, just like,
Yeah.
man, you're my best friend, but like your gambling problem is what got you into this.
This
mess.
movie is
Like,
so
oh,
tell, not
yeah.
show.
God.
This,
Yeah.
Sorry, but what's
Yeah.
this movie actually about?
So anyways,
I
he
cut
gets
you off.
he gets over his head
debts get bought up
by
by
Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
and-
the judge or
What the hell
Yeah.
did he call himself?
I keep not remembering.
The
He had-
Rumble.
he had-
The
the
Rumble.
Rumble, yeah.
Which is another WWE
which is a
name. You
wrestling
cannot tell me
reference.
it's not.
Yeah.
Is he a
So
wrestler?
Kelsey Grammer is, to my knowledge, not been a WWE wrestler. So anyway, he buys
Frazier.
Yeah.
Yes. that's
Frazier
him.
buys his debt and makes him in lieu with him. and then proceeds to send him on this money plane thing to go take money from like what's effectively the Continental from John Wick,
The
but a plane.
1% of the 1%.
Yeah.
Who all happen to be very white Americans that like don't look like they belong there at all.
Yeah.
Really.
So this is for context for people wondering, this is a B movie. This movie. When this movie is going, this movie has an hour 20 to do a movie. It is telling, not showing most of the time.
Yeah, it does not have the time for it.
It's doing it too. I mean,
Now, that being said, I wanna address one of my favorite loopholes. Maybe it's not a loophole, maybe it is explained. But in the beginning of the movie,
I wanted to
there's
start from the beginning.
the intro of this is a midway started heist with our like crew.
With the voiceover at the beginning. Don't
Yes.
forget that because they love that.
The voiceover is good.
it's the same thing as the outfit, by the way.
This movie wants to
Oh,
be.
it is.
This
Yeah.
movie wants to be Burn Notice, but like the movie's so bad.
That's true.
But Burn Notice is way better. Anyways,
yeah,
so
USA can do it.
yeah, so the movie starts out with this like painting heist slowly going wrong, and then we will find out later on in the film that Kelsey Grammer's character set it up to kind of like reinforce more like, oh, he owes him something like in the nature of a big job. Now, what we find out in the beginning of the movie though is that Kelsey Grammer bought all of the debt of this guy, so he's already in debt. So I'm not sure why he needs him more in debt to this guy to do the money plane job.
Yeah, well, but also doesn't he kind of get the sense that he's getting screwed over with the money plane job too?
Yeah.
Like he's also
Yeah.
going to get screwed
He's gonna
on
get
that one
screwed
because
there
his guy
as
on the
well.
ground gets intercepted.
Yes.
Though there should be no reason that anybody would have thought to get him.
But I also start at the very beginning again because there's something I had to bring up because it set the tone for the movie for me perfectly. Because when the job goes wrong or whatever, Edge and like I think the girl, the
Edge.
femme fatale, of course,
Yeah, Ear Ripper.
they're running in. They're like, start the car, and they're like getting out there, and like five
And,
guys
yeah,
come
like
out.
Stormtrooper
It's
style,
yeah.
just blasting while
Blasting
they're just
away.
standing.
No cover.
No cover.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not even like firing backwards or anything. They're just running and like they're from like us to the camera and like they miss. I'm like
The movie is definitely
What?
They
reminiscent.
missed with machine guns.
the
Yeah.
machine guns.
The very beginning of that whole Geist or the gun fights part
The
in
Geist.
particular, Geist, the gun heist. The gun part start scene. I'm gonna get that language through.
You are struggling.
Man, it's been a nice 30 seconds.
When they start shooting at our cast,
Okay.
the effects definitely reminded me of Birdemic in a lot of ways. It felt, I very much was like, okay, the cast is very indicative of it being a B movie, but maybe they just play it really cool, right?
Okay.
Sure enough, everybody starts blasting guns, and the gunshots and the way
Don't
that it's
match.
shot
Yep.
are so wildly bad. But to be fair, that's the worst part of the film. Like, as far as
No.
effects and glaring, like, things like
the
that.
rest of it's just terrible.
No, I'm not saying in quality. I'm saying like when it comes to like, all right, there's an action segment with gunshots and the effects are so bad. Like everything is
off-putting.
bad.
Yeah, for
Off-putting
sure.
like
That's
that.
probably the worst part.
Yeah.
I can't think of it, but you may be right.
Yes, I watched the film. It's not a whole lot of film.
Money
So,
plane.
and then anyways, money plane. You want to bet on a guy fucking an alligator? Money plane.
Let me tell you about this crazy undercover unknown fucking flight in the sky
Yes.
that no one's supposed to know about.
That you can't
Yeah.
prosecute because it's in
International.
the air.
Because that's how that works.
Fun fact: that is not how that works.
Not at all.
No,
No.
planes always have precedence of the territory they are leaving, and that is always the legal designated thing. So
Also, my favorite thing, because it says like the location and undisclosed.
yes,
As if we give a shit
Right.
where they're about to take off from.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been anywhere. It doesn't matter.
I
Yeah.
love the scene also with Frasier when he's like doing the money plane thing and
money
like,
plane
like
rant.
telling Edge what he's gonna do. And he's like, you're gonna do this job for me because I have this. And it's just like a portrait of his family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like at that point, that's when the villain always has like a video on the
Yeah.
It's like, I got him.
But all
Like,
they could
I got
afford
him.
was a picture of the-
portrait of their family. It's like, he could get that anywhere. Like,
He
you could
could,
print that
yeah.
off of Facebook.
Yeah, he had a Facebook,
just
I'm
put
sure
that
of it.
there.
And that looked like their Facebook picture, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
It
it
did.
really did. But that's all they could afford of Denise Richards, Real Housewife, but also technically an actor before that. So,
She was in the movie.
she was in it for a little bit. And, yeah, anyways, some stuff happens between then and there. The money plane is what really kicks in. But before we get there, one last quick note. Kelsey Grammer, in the long money plane rant, mentions it's where the baddest motherfuckers are. And the baddest motherfuckers we're introduced to are a wily coyote like cowboy man.
Who looks like he's a little bit souped up on maybe speed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
The one who plays Russian roulette.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh god.
And frankly,
Handlebar.
the equivalent of me and Price in a suit, you know, like we're the most threatening people on the plane besides the staff of the plane.
Yeah, I'm
and
more
there's
scared
like
of the
no
waitresses.
security. There's apparently like so much money on the plane, and there is hardly any
There's
security.
two dudes.
Concierge is
Yeah.
the only badass on that plane.
Yeah. But
Well, I mean, he casually murders people. for
casually
cheating,
murders
Yes.
one. Okay.
Which
Yeah,
so
please leave.
all right,
That one.
we're talking about the money plane.
We're-
the
we're
money
just- we're on the
plane
plane.
is like not anywhere near
as luxurious as it's
interesting
advertised.
as
It's so
they make
small.
you think it's going to be.
They took a
Like
Southwest flight.
they
and emptied it.
definitely got in just a real tiny plane by the looks of it. Like I mean, it's it's bigger than a normal plane, sure, but it's not much.
Yeah, it's not a 40. You know when you go on a 45-minute flight with like a single row one, it's not
Yeah.
one of those. It's definitely like a Southwest average size plane, but
With
but
all the seats taken out, and you put couches down the side.
yes.
Maybe.
But the rebuttal is this is supposed to be some of the richest people in the world, and they're sitting here
That want
flying
to
on
be here.
Yeah, and they're on this Southwest flight.
Commenting on how smooth the takeoff was.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have the best pilots.
We have the best pilots.
When
I should know. I'm also a pilot.
I'm also yeah. It just felt like everybody had something. to
well,
bring.
and the thing is, you would like that was a thing that I was like, whenever they took over the flight, which is a thing that happens in
Yeah,
the course
so
of this,
easy.
I thought that would come up again.
Yeah.
That the
that he
concierge
was
would
gonna
like
have
take
to.
over the flight
Yeah.
and start flying it himself or
No.
something.
Totally
He just wanted to
irrelevant.
brag.
No.
Yeah.
No, that
Also-
was completely pointless. That
Then
comment.
the rest of the flight, Edge is just on the comms or whatever, like
Yeah.
occasionally flying the plane. But also,
Oh, he's doing this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he's
that's what
just
you're
driving.
doing.
This is a smooth flight, guys.
but
Imagine
I was.
Remember the turbulence when it was all going
Yeah.
crazy? Oh, no
So this
fun.
is going to be my small rant for like the rest of the time, and I'll
Yeah.
see the rest of the time to you all
Uh-huh.
because you skipped over the part between Frasier and the
his
money
wife and the
plane
kid.
because this is the background part that is when I completely checked out of the movie because this is a part where you have like the most ham-fisted like I love my daughter kind of scene where they're like
Well,
hitting
it's
each other
best.
with pillows. It's like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Like no, you have to go to bed,
Mm.
and it's like yeah, I'm gonna do my hot wife later. But, like. This is so terrible. And then Thomas Jane comes in and is like, I've been your best friend since the Gulf War.
He breaks into
30
exposition
He
himself into
literally
the
breaks
story.
it in.
Yeah.
And just and this is at the point where I'm like, okay, like Frasier just said the funny line of the money plane. I'm cackling to myself, and then the rest of the movie is just bad
Tongue in
movie.
cheek.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's bad movie. Like I like bad movies that know they're bad movies and just kind of embrace it and just really ham it up. This one like thinks it's a good movie, but like is just terrible the whole time. I mean,
What?
the soundtrack is very obnoxious, which we haven't even gotten into yet. Like it's setting up this goofy
Right.
kind of. It's setting up this goofy tone. Like it's especially apparent when the tech guy's on the ground doing
Yeah.
stuff, and there's
Yeah.
this really loud, goofy song. I'm like, this is not the tone that the movie's hitting at all. And it's giving you these characters you don't care anything about,
Wow.
and the plot's
I love
terrible.
You're telling me you didn't
It's
like
just-
McGillicuddy,
Yeah.
like just winning every single
I-
thing without trying?
Yeah.
I hated it. I thought it was so like a
McGillicuddy
third,
was a shitty name.
like a kindergartner wrote the script to this, and I was supposed to watch it and enjoy it, and I hated this movie.
To be fair,
From top to
some of the
bottom.
movies that you suggest do feel like kindergartners,
Yeah.
right? Those movies.
Not
See,
like this.
See,
You
like
can-
Thanksgiving
like,
is
no.
like bad and it knows it's
he
bad.
immediately went to Thanksgiving.
Which I enjoy.
Yeah.
Which is a fair one to go to. This is a B movie.
It is. It is.
But
yeah.
this one is just like, why was this made?
I
Like,
agree.
who-
It is strange.
The one that I was going to compare it to is Birdemic because Birdemic's bad and it doesn't know it's bad. And then when you get to that line, for me personally, it's very hard to fall. Like when you're writing that bad movie that's bad, it's hard to fall on the good side. It's a lot easier to fall on the like this is boring and terrible, which is where I land on this one.
So,
Over.
and to follow up on prices now, I will say this. I feel like I'm over here blushing embarrassed because I just feel as though this is really a Brokeback Mountain moment all over again. I knew this was a B movie, and okay, for context.
I
We've been
can't
doing
wait
this
to-
for like 5 years
Oh,
together.
man.
For context, I knew this was a B movie based on a 15-second clip of the scene in the movie and said sold, and then I put it on
Yeah.
the wheel, and I went in totally blind. Other than that,
It's a good blind pick.
It's really not a blind bad pick, but Runtime alone already does us a lot of favors for that.
It
But
does.
so after watching the film, I was like, okay, maybe Price will be on board with that. He loves Birdemic. That's at least as good as Birdemic. It's notably better than Birdemic, for the record. But it's actually a real movie with some actors in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you've really just unveiled some of these like real actors in it. And I'm like, okay, it does help it a
Yeah,
little bit. 'Cause I didn't
mean-
realize that was a WWE guy.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah, that's really.
I thought he was kinda good.
He wasn't like. Listen, for the tone of the movie, he was okay, if not good.
His
for
eyes were
for
wide
being-
the entire time.
That being said, he
But
did.
I
have the-
liked it.
He had the same expression the entire movie.
He did.
It was nuts, but it was a good one.
Can I? You know what my rant is, and it's about 5 seconds.
Yeah, go for it.
Out of all of the Frasier, outbursts, like talking about this Money Plane,
Yeah.
all I could think of, why wasn't there a better name than Money Plane? There could have been so many cooler names than a Money Plane. You're
Because
talking about
Casino Royale was already
an
taken.
unlimited gambling vessel up in the sky. You could pick anything.
Yeah, Money Plane.
Plane. Like, that's it?
All I'm thinking with all this is like, why wasn't this Rat Race?
that
That would have been so much better.
Nathan, you
and
gotta
would have had
pick
the
that
same
movie.
vibes.
I think historically my problem is that I could not pick this on season 1 because you guys have seen Snatch, so now anything that even resembles a heist film is immediately compared to Snatch.
I did not think about
And I think the only
thing.
reason this movie's gonna get so much shit is because we've watched Snatch. Is all I'm
In
saying.
this movie,
Oh, yeah. That's all. That's why.
That's the only reasons I
That's
could
the
possibly
bar.
see.
like to also emphasize how bad this movie is, like you get the infamous line of Frasier saying like, if you want to see like, bet on somebody fucking an alligator, Money Plane. You're like, whoa, like this place is
We
gonna
will
be
never
crazy.
be able to deliver it as
They're,
well. as
they're
you
gonna
guys.
do
It
something
was-
crazy, and all
it
it was
was
just
so-
murder
it
in
was
different
so
ways.
tame.
It was so
It's
tame.
just like, all right, we're gonna start off with a little bit of Texas Hold'em.
Texas
Yeah.
Hold'em, it's a crowd favorite.
Also,
It's
okay.
just all like it's just murder in different ways. It's like you set it up by saying somebody's gonna have sex with an alligator, like that.
And what we got was a
Nothing.
Hold'em game, which for the record,
well, I'm talking about
no,
hold on. I'm talking
because
about the video.
The,
No, I
the
know.
video stuff
Yeah.
afterwards was just like, oh, McGillicuddy's going to try and do a bad job at acting like he's got a problem with the things that he's seeing on screen, where they're like, how many minutes before somebody gets killed by this snake and stuff like that.
Can I
never saw
try
the
to
snake.
defend the movie by a point?
yeah, I'm gonna
Go.
tear it down.
I'd love
So
to
hear
hear
me out. So he's saying something
I'm
about an
next.
alligator. You can bet on an
Yeah,
alligator.
yeah,
Blah blah blah. What if there's numerous money planes?
And this just happens
This is
to take
it.
place on the bad money plane.
Right.
This is a shitty money plane.
This is the lowest tier of Money
no.
Plane.
What if
this is
there's
Frontier.
one per week?
This
You
is
know?
Yeah.
this is the group doing the thing where like, well, this movie, like
That's
you think
true.
about what's
I don't
outside.
wanna- I
of
don't
it.
want to spread too much.
There
time
was
on this.
Yeah.
no indication that there was
That's
any other
true.
money planes.
If there was
Yeah.
another money plane, we should have been on that one.
Yeah.
This movie should have
This
taken
movie-
place on the B.
Well, this movie's
We
hoping
should've
that
been
it
on the
does
A.
well enough that they can afford the real Money Plane, Money Plane 2, but this time for real.
to get
you know.
like Gerard Butler as
He
the
would
main
do it.
character.
He would do it.
He would.
You know they wanted him, but he was probably busy with another Olympus Has Fallen. So
Yeah, or
Probably.
gamer.
Another
or
dad
game,
movie.
yeah, another one of these ones, right? Quick funny note on like the badness being some of the charm of this film. Okay, so Edge, the one thing he's pitched to us as is an incredibly competent and good card player, gambler in
Yeah.
Oh,
specific.
I know where you're
And
going.
he goes in against Texas Hold'em McGee. I don't remember his
I
name.
think he just wanted to be out.
He needed to be out.
I
He
know.
needed to be out.
In
Yeah.
theory, that is
Like,
true.
he knew he had a bad hand. You could look at that and know that that was a bad hand.
I know, but
Pair of fours.
I want to believe that it's a con against him as
I
part
do
of the
too.
charm. My headcanon is that they paint him as this amazing gambler, and the only time he's seen gambling on this film is
Is
this
that
one
time.
card game.
Yeah.
And the way they demonstrate that is by having him go in with a pair of fours all in, and the goods
Like
of the
before
dudes all.
any of the
Any
like
other
before
cards
the
flip.
river, the flop,
Yeah.
any of that.
Yep.
There's not
It's
two
just
other
like,
cards.
oh, here's the opener. Yeah,
All
I'm
in.
all in.
And then everyone goes all in.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's a
'cause why
community
wouldn't you?
pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh man, I'm glad my britches are shorter now. Thanks for
Yeah.
making me feel alive.
And Yosemite Sam fucking pushes in with a full
Yosemite
house.
Sam.
Yeah, that's who he really
Yeah,
is.
he
man.
is.
He goes all in and does that, and then Edge is like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have been a gambler. I should have just been a secret agent.
I'm gonna go take a
I'm
nap.
gonna go be an agent again. And then he walks off, and that's my headcanon. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Proceed to the 15-minute fight in the cockpit.
Yeah, the
God bless.
who knew there was a co-pilot,
with
boys?
the like Chris in height, red.
It really was just Chris.
Yeah, it's all
on
Chris.
top.
It's like if Chris was just in the cockpit of a plane, basically. It's like, try and fight him.
Like,
This-
like
would
they're
be
both
pretty.
because they're both like 6'6", so like
Yeah,
they're trying to
both
fight and they're
very
like
tall.
this.
Yeah, and they're just
And he gets that same move over and over where he just he slams him against the
Yeah.
chair and then he slams against the wall. Chair, wall, chair,
Chair,
wall. At
Yeah.
the very end of it, and I'm like, we could have done that the whole time.
knowing you have
Just
Edge
spamming
on
the X button.
hand, you would have figured that maybe he would have been like, guys, can we step up the choreography here, guys? Like,
Yeah.
I've been wrestling for like 30 years. Can I like?
Well, he had a good right hook from the original
He did.
guy.
Yeah, he did.
And he didn't realize the other ones.
The last note on the activities of the movie that I'll critique on is McGillicuddy going back and forth with Yosemite Sam and him shooting himself in the head did make me laugh. The idea where it was just like, well, goddamn, let me do it, and then he blows his head off with it, and then proceeds the
What did he say?
McGillicuddy
I'm-
streak.
I'm bulletproof or something.
No,
I'm
he's
untouchable.
just like, I never lose.
I never lose, and
Yeah.
then proceeds to shoot himself in the head with a bullet.
Which, I would have assumed that they would have used like a different way because like, if a bullet strikes anything in that plane, it's bad.
It's done.
And
Yeah.
sure, the other guy was skilled enough with a silencer. Like he could probably control himself.
The fact that
Concierge.
that the ones involved in this game are the incredibly rich
Rich.
1%.
I swear I was just gonna say that.
Elon
Like,
Musk
yeah,
is
why would they
having
not
some.
have paid two people just
Yeah.
to be there and just bet on them?
I was like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, wait, why are you involved? You're like this insanely rich person for some reason.
Like, can you imagine like Elon Musk just like killed
Yeah.
himself the other day because of money playing?
The dream.
Figure it out.
Money
He
play,
just- he
yeah.
just got into a Russian roulette game.
Yeah.
He thought he was untouchable.
It
The
went
richest
wrong.
people in the world.
World, yeah, the richest, but also the most
Well,
manic people.
The
in
most
world.
criminal.
Yeah, criminally rich, right?
Yeah.
They're underworld rich.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
It's not Bill Gates, but
What
they.
about when
you
the
know.
guy was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of you, blah blah blah. You're the biggest sex trafficker on this side of the
And-
Mississippi."
Yeah.
And there's only one thing I like more than human
Yeah.
trafficking, and that's
Guns,
Guns, which is
trafficking.
why I'm rich. Me like guns. Gun,
Jesus
gun, shoot.
Christ.
And then his very
And
rapey
he's like,
friend.
"Come here, little girl. I
Yeah.
like feeling you." Like, oh, I guess he's bad.
I'm convinced that wasn't even
I
acting.
guess I shouldn't like him.
Yeah, you're like, how do we know he's bad? Can we make him rapey? Because that usually is how we do it in American culture. It's like, how do we make them immediately bad? Make them rapey. Really,
Yeah.
like, I would not trust them in a small alley with a woman. But then they proceed to put a very attractive woman in front of us. I'm like, carry on, boys. I don't know. They don't know any better. Listen, you have that
Maybe
much
this
money.
guy's got a point. I
That
don't know.
usually is how that works. So,
I
but
got really tired of the girls one-on-one fights with all the men who are 100 pounds more
Who-
than
yeah,
her.
who
and
were
she
about
takes them all out.
she loses
8
that
inches
fight.
taller.
Maybe,
But
alone
it's
with
just stacking them all up. And
Yeah, in the
balls at
bathroom.
you.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. It's that exactly. She rips that one dude's ears off. That's notable.
That's crazy. I
I
think my least favorite thing was the server room fight. That thing.
That fight
I
sucked.
hated that.
The server
But-
room fight.
Yeah, McGillicuddy's in there. Can't throw a punch.
Not the same
At
as life.
all.
No.
Like McGillicuddy is
It's
just
him and
literally-
Gunman, and then Gunman beats McGillicuddy, and then it's girl against Gunman's rapist friend.
Yes,
And
yes.
then she
I remember.
I was waiting for a moment. Talk about a moment where if they had the money, she hits him with the double bottles and stabs him in the chest with the broken bottle, which I'm like, okay, that's as close as we
Yeah,
get
that
to
was
good
crazy.
choreography.
That was probably the
I was
glorious part.
waiting for like the blood to be pouring out of like the bottle, and then immediately I'm thinking of what was the Tank Girl with the water sucking thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I recently saw Dune where they had that exact same tech, so I was just like, all right, now drink the blood. Like, that's like, she's, tastes good. Like,
And then they push the bad guy into the servers or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, no effects.
no electricity effects, nothing.
Not even sounds.
Just implied.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah, the tail end of the movie kind of sucks. Thomas Jane comes in and punishes that guy.
Oh
with the
my
drone.
god, the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the drone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was so stupid with the gun.
Dude, no.
The way
Dude,
the drone
I'm on
is
Dylan's
like
side.
ripping around.
I'm on
like,
Dylan's
yeah.
side. I'm like, oh, they've got the tech.
Yeah.
Then Thomas Jane has got some outlandish thing from the army or something,
Yeah.
and I see the drone from far away. I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess they're gonna have a gun on
Well,
this
I
thing.
mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, in Helldivers,
Is
the
that
gun
right?
that you have
Uh.
literally has a gun mounted to it,
And
and it
it's
just
sick.
looks like a normal gun. So
Yeah.
like
It's
a trigger.
ridiculous. They use like a Splinter Cell style thing where it's like headshots are automatic,
Yeah.
and it is literally just like dangling below the drone, and I'm like, This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
You know what the best part about this, though, Mason?
What?
This is the closest we're ever going to get to him returning to the Punisher.
To the Punisher?
This is the closest you're going to get.
Him or
anymore.
Sam Fisher?
And that's
yeah,
fine.
there's a crossover.
Keep them away.
No,
No
Thomas-
more Punishers.
Thomas Jane's good.
It's not needed. John Bernthal is a million times better.
He is, but I think Thomas Jane is still
Drone was the
good.
best part of the movie, but also the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I fucking hated that little
That little
the little
BG
arms
drone.
holding it. Like,
It's like you could see the crappy duct tape
Yeah.
around it with the
Oh,
gun.
yeah, it looked terrible.
They're like, how does he pull the trigger? Don't worry about
no,
it.
yeah, we're not
Yeah.
gonna ask those questions here.
So I will say, critique towards the end of the movie, by the time they're all, like, hopping off the movie, I really thought that the
The
movie...
charity discussion
yeah.
maybe would have blown my brains out.
That was pretty whack.
We're not keeping this money,
was-
right?
I was hoping the McGillicuddy character would at least be like, flip that and be like, no, I'm gonna
gonna
keep
keep
my
my part.
Yeah, I'm keeping
I had
mine.
to
like,
fucking watch a cobra eat him.
Yeah. I almost died.
Yeah, that would have been my
Yosemite
bullet.
Sam would have been my bullet if I didn't convince him otherwise.
I'm taking my share.
Yeah, he's like, fuck y'all. Yeah, that would have been great.
And there's no indication beforehand that they're like altruistic kind of thieves.
No,
either.
Oh yeah.
That's a
no,
good point.
no, okay, actually, there's the tiniest nod, and I'll tell you exactly where it is. Whenever Edge is with his daughter, and they just did a little plaything, on the counter is a book, Robin Hood. And that is how you do.
Oh, so they
morally
do,
they give you a little tease.
They do mention that a couple of times, like the whole like Sherwood Forest and something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember like
I forgot
hearing
about
like
that Robin Hood thing.
hearing a comment like
saw it
that
and
and
I was
just
like,
thinking like that's
gonna
really
come
seems
full
out
circle.
of place in this movie up until I guess the point.
Well,
where-
that's
Yes.
how like thieves are meant to be like looked at as far as heist movies goes. Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not genuinely good people. They're stealing from other people, whether it's the 1% or whatever. But
Right.
I mean, it's still
They're chaotic good.
blood is on their hands.
Also, how did they give? Can you give cryptocurrency to charities?
Listen, charity will find a way.
With like one
Hey,
button,
hey,
and it's like
yeah,
transfer
come on,
complete.
guys.
Button, like,
You're
let me
thinking
send this
harder
to
than
their
the movie
crypto
would.
wallets.
You guys watched a movie called Money Plane and started thinking, that's on you. You know, that's
Also,
how the
I'm not
director...
trusting a Samsung like S7 Edge to be
No.
able to like take away all the Bitcoin from
Yeah.
this like server.
On-
room.
That
On
thing
a
would
flight-
take years.
Yeah.
On a flight where you don't necessarily have like a good network
No,
connection.
you
The
shouldn't.
Wi-Fi on flights on their best day is terrible. Always.
Yeah, I had
Uh,
that phone.
Yes.
I couldn't have done
Which
that.
Yeah.
we didn't talk about. Frasier finally gets his own.
Oh my god.
Kind of.
The bad guys. No, yeah, the bad guys make it through. No, he kills his one security guard.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
only have
One
one homie.
security
The one-
guard.
to be fair, he was terrible at his job. He did not take orders well. Keep
He
him
killed that
quiet,
one
and then
guy.
he just shoots. Come on.
But there's only one. Is my point. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
What?
before you get there, I guess you gotta
Oh, sorry.
explain like Edge,
How it gets there.
Edge
Yeah.
tricks.
Thomas Jane, yeah, I guess
Like,
lets him know about the whole big
to
thing.
call it a trick, I don't know.
It's not really.
But-
a
Like,
thing.
guys-
he gets Frasier to just talk himself up and be like, I'm the baddest
Motherfucker.
man around. My name's this. Like, give
Fuck
me the
that
money from this
I'm taking
plane.
for everybody.
Damon
And
Grouch the
then he
third.
plays it
Yeah.
over the intercom, so then everybody on the money plane hears it, and they're like, "Oh well, we will have him killed."
Hold on. So,
but it's important.
fine, go.
But it's just like in past lives, you know, where they do the cinematography and they do that, and it's awesome. It's like in this movie where they talk about the beginning, where they're like, Plan B, you need an A. He's like, every good job needs a Plan B or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was-
we
it was a
saw
callback,
that.
but it
We
was-
saw
it was-
that. It is,
yeah.
oh my
Narrative callback. This movie's good.
I-
So,
filmmaking.
I will say my biggest grievance with this the ending. I really did think they were just going to crash the plane into Kelsey Grammer. I really thought.
Kamikaze?
Yeah, they were going to 9/11 Kelsey Grammer, which, you know, now that I've said it out loud, probably
Yeah.
explains
it
why
would
they
go
didn't.
up 3 points in my score.
Oh,
I
that's
thought-
a
I thought they were gonna
Especially
remember
when it's
me,
really
though.
shitty looking.
3
Yeah,
points.
I thought they were gonna. Yeah, I thought they were gonna aim it at him. They were gonna peace out, and because you don't, at this point, you probably made enemies of the rich people
Well,
too. you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you just stole from them.
Yeah, you just
Like,
stole
yeah.
all the money. You might as well fix all your
Might as well
problems in
kill
one
them all.
go. Because that's how you have a sequel, you know? While the money plane people are like, well, you did rob us.
The Asian lady was really the only one left that was really introduced.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, right? So the fact that they weren't like, you know, and with what I'm sure would have been a banger line, you know, something
Oh
like.
hell yeah.
There would have been something so corny but delivered so very straight-faced
Yep.
about a plane just hitting him and taking out the money plane and Kelsey Grammer and just being like,
But that didn't happen, so let's
I know.
forget it. Strike that from the record.
That will reflect in my score. is all I'm saying. Yeah, but what did happen is they hopped off, Robin Hooded it, and then the people will just kind of
And they
kill.
just pitch the money out. They could be over the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they were just throwing money out of the plane
Just-
to
It's fine.
donate it directly to
Yeah. The people of Atlantis have now inherited
people.
several
Wherever
millions.
they happen to be
The
flying.
Yeah.
people of Ghana. Because
And, it's a happy ending.
It is.
Because
The
they
painting.
sell the painting that they were supposed to have stolen
Yes.
at the beginning of
well, they knew
this
his
movie.
whereabouts or something. too.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas Jane let him know that the guy, put it back into a different museum.
I think my favorite part was when they were on the phone, Thomas Jane and Edge, and he was like, "Oh, remember Brazil?" He's like, "Ah, how could I forget Brazil?" And then the little girl is sitting there playing like Call of Duty with him.
She's like, "What happened,
She's
Brazil?"
like, "What happened in Brazil?" He was like, "That's a need-to-know basis, soldier," and he like winks at her.
Yeah.
Like Brazil is just a stupid like shared memory between the two that we're
Talk
not
about-
allowed to know.
Talk about things that are probably better movies than what they actually
Yes.
did.
Yes.
Thomas Jane and Edge in a
I
forest
need to
killing
see.
like
I need to
Rambo.
see Brazil.
Yeah.
I've watched Money Plane. I need to see the prequel.
What would
Brazil?
if you had a? You know what? That's gonna be the question. But before we go into that, do we have any other comments?
One thing I forgot to mention that I thought was hilarious in that scene where I did my big rant about like them setting up everything. Like they
Yeah.
do the pillow fight, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go bang my wife," and then they go upstairs. And they're like, "Oh, you're going on another job, aren't you?" And he's like, "It's my last one." And then they look at each other, and it's like, "Okay, like this is when you kiss. Like just give him a kiss goodnight or something," and they just leave.
Yo.
Denise
There's
Richards didn't
no
get paid enough for physical
chemistry.
intimacy on that movie.
There's more chemistry between me and Theo, and she would kill me than there is between these two.
Where's the? Anyways, no. Yeah, they don't kiss because they couldn't afford the intimacy.
Yeah, Denise Richards probably like it's another $100,000.
Yeah,
for
and
me
then
to
they're
kiss him.
They
Not
said,
worth it.
"Whoa, we can write that out."
Well, we got another $100,000, and then the people looking at the back, they're like, it's either that or we don't have a plane. For it."
Or we lose Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
We
Kelsey
need
Grammer's
him.
like, I'm already close to being out. I'm way too good for this role already. I've wanted Tony. Don't you know this about me?
Oh.
Yeah, anyways. Fat Thin, perfectly fit. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good transition time? Price.
It's thin.
Yeah.
There's a lot. This movie did so much telling without showing
Yeah.
because it just didn't have the runtime. It didn't have the budget.
It did have the budget.
To be a
The
runtime.
runtime was there.
I don't
The
know
budget
why
was
it
there.
needed this cast. I'm not saying this is like a top tier cast, but like for a movie that's hitting this pay grade, you don't need these actors. Even though again it's Edge, Denise Richards, Frasier seems like a big one.
Frasier probably cost a little bit of money.
Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
why just spend that more money on the movie and like
Always forgets about Thomas Jane.
let it breathe a little bit.
Oh, what the disrespect on
I
this,
know.
man.
This movie's
I
thin.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand this movie's existence. I really don't. Like, why? I feel like there's got to be some kind of bizarre story as to why this film was made at all.
Well, so
Yeah.
was there a WWE label on anything? 'Cause
Never.
This normally is what happens with like John Cena.
it's a
Yeah,
good
normally
question.
they put it in the trailers. They almost
Yes.
WWE star
and
Edge.
it's
Yeah.
massive. Like you just know it's a production by WWE.
So I know
There's nothing though, right? You
Nothing.
didn't see anything?
nothing.
Yeah,
I looked up the trailer. And
So if
nothing.
that's if that had been the case with this film, don't you think like McMahon would have been one of the bad guys?
Not
on
necessarily.
Money
No,
No,
Plane?
because John
McMahon-
Cena. You're right. Or what's the other guy? The
Stone Cold or The Rock are usually
no, the guy that's
Batista?
in Guardians.
Oh, Batista.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
No,
You-
Batista's
you might
like
have
an
a couple.
actor now. He's
Yeah.
I
like
know. Well,
Yeah, he
okay.
was in
The
You're not
Rock's
getting
been an
Batista.
actor for a while, followed probably very right behind
Cabin.
Batista, followed and probably John Cena, and then Stone Cold, and then Edge is there's probably Rowdy
Stone
Roddy Piper.
Cold.
Stone Cold Steve Austin has had a couple of really dumb dad movie action ones.
When?
Look it up. Anyways,
Yeah, that sounds right.
I at least know what he looks like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are like the probably 3 or 4. Roddy Piper, actually an actor. You may know him
You
from
made
Always
him
Sunny.
up.
Roddy Piper is a dude in Always
He
Sunny
is
early on.
so funny.
And he is
at it.
actually so good. So you have all these people who are actually actors. And then notice that those are like 5 or 6. Edge is not even in that list. Whenever I saw this, I'm like, I didn't know he did movie.
He did movie.
He did movie.
He did movie.
He
Yeah.
did movie.
Yes. So anyways, to echo into your point, yeah, this movie got made because, I don't know, I like to assume that Edge, this is a passion project for Edge, to be honest, because it's like,
Edge wanted his debut.
he wanted to get in on the
cannot
movie
be
money.
anybody's passion.
There's
project.
no way.
I mean, I just don't know. But I agree, it's thin. There's like, I want to see Brazil. I actually really
Yeah.
want to see more of Thomas Jane just being the retired Punisher in this lore.
That's literally what he is.
And I did want to see a plane crash into Kelsey Grammer, but I didn't.
I
get that, so.
want to see more levels of this plane because they made it sound like there was like 3 or 4 different levels, and they showed you like 2.
Not a lick of nudity in this movie. I am disappointed by
Well,
that.
no, that they had those like those
They had the
women
hoe train.
that that
respectfully.
The hoe train.
Yeah,
The hoe
I'm
train.
thinking of that because we recently talked about former wrestler The Godfather, and you guys didn't watch wrestling, but he was like,
Nope.
I'm gonna explain really quickly. I promise this is like 3 seconds. His whole bit was he'd come out and he was a pimp, like
Oh.
literally that's his character. This is in the
Okay.
'90s when the wrestling got away with everything, and he'd be like, listen, we can fight, or you can hang out with these hoes, and he'd bring a whole train with him, 4 or 5 women.
Oh my god.
And most of the time, the people wouldn't fight him, and then they would just go walk off with the hoe train. He very rarely ever wrestled. It was great. I forgot all about that until a friend recently brought that up,
Wow.
and I was like, huh, son of a bitch. So I'm
I
really
didn't
upset.
realize that was a thing.
Brother, in the 90s, there was all sorts of things going on in wrestling.
I'm gonna agree that it's also thin.
Yeah.
I wanted much more from just about any aspect of this.
Except for Denise Richards and the kid.
Yeah, the family life. I got exactly what I needed from that. Like 2,
Plenty,
cute,
if anything.
little cuties at home that
Yeah.
need a fatherly figure.
Yeah.
So you got to make it home.
Yeah.
Sure, that's enough. But anything else, I would have taken more of. Anything else.
Yes. So, the question on this one, and I'm trying to not make this like wrestling bias with it. So we talked about the idea of like, wouldn't Vince McMahon be like the villain in this one? Now Vince wasn't often an actor in other films, but also he is canceled from the company from a lot of sexual allegations. You may not
Yeah,
know
Well,
this.
that would be no surprise.
Even
honestly.
more, even
Yeah, like he pooped on people.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
Wow.
no, he had people pooped on.
Oh,
and
poop on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen. Anyways, so I would say this: if there was one plot thing from this movie that you would want to see a sequel out of, what would it be? That's the question.
Like,
so is
what
it
beat?
the Money Plane verse? Is it like, Edge and Thomas Jane doing Punisher movie or Punisher military stuff before? Is it a lovely romance with him and Denise Richards? You see all the little avenues how they could do a spin-off or like a sequel.
I want to see his gambling addicts.
My thing is, like, you could have made a good movie out of this. Like, a good, funny comedy heist movie. You could have gotten there. But this isn't it.
No.
This is a premise that you could see where it could have gone.
It's shaping.
And
Yeah.
it's not it. Like, this ain't it. So if there's anything that should be done, it's like, well, just do this, but do it right.
Covering all the bases.
Like, you could still, like, this could be run back and be done well.
The only aspect of the movie that I genuinely thought like could be something was the money plane itself. I think the concierge and the bookkeeper I thought were actually good
They were
actors and
cool.
doing
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Everybody
Concierge was
else
awesome.
was absolute dog trash.
Yeah.
So the only part I want to see is like maybe the ramifications of what this happened on like the money plane, like how they got out of the sky, what they're going to do to them, that kind of thing. But again, I don't want to see it. But if I have to pick something, it's going to be that.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of that, like, in John Wick 1, you get, I forget the character name, but Adrian Padalecki, her character, she, does a killing on the Continental grounds, and then later, they fucking snipe the shit out of her because you don't break rules in this society. So, the fact that they got robbed, sure, that makes sense. There's, open door. I'm like, now what happens that the money plane people are onto you,
Yeah.
It's the money plane.
And this goof troop is not equipped to be able to handle that.
No, they definitely die. My assumption is that the sequel would just been them getting murdered in the next 20 minutes and then the
the
film.
first 8 minutes.
It's like a Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, it's like, man, what an adventure, and then so quickly afterwards.
Oh, sorry, we're teasing Mason.
Oh yikes!
Yeah, I plan on playing that in at least 8 years.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Just
you're
watch the
You're just
show.
gotta watch the show.
Just watch the show.
Yeah.
The show's great.
It's verbatim.
The
right?
game is great.
The game's fantastic.
We have a long talk about it on our channel.
Make sure to check it out, and all our other video game content coming out soon.
Of our top 10.
They're all edited.
They're all edited anyway. So let's get into the scores, guys. Let's start.
Let's rip this Band-Aid off.
Let's start hitting this button. Price, take us from the top.
I hated this movie. It's a bad movie that's bad. So, like I said earlier, it's on that line and it falls into the abyss and is just terrible.
Yeah.
I really wanted a lot more. There was nothing redeemable about it. The one line about the money pit or money playing the alligator really got me because I was hoping it was going to ride that tone.
Yeah.
It does not, because the beginning where the stormtroopers are shooting at him and they miss, I'm like, okay, and then it's the alligator. Like, you will see a guy do an alligator. I'm like, oh, okay, we're getting there. And then it's like playing with his kids, Thomas Jane. I'm like, okay, I'm off this board. But at least it showed me something that it could have been. So I'll give this a 1. I really didn't like it, but it wasn't the worst of the worst.
It could have been a 2.
I think
No,
you
it
should
couldn't.
give it a
You're being
2.
strict. A 2 is
Nope.
not that huge of a leap from a 1.
This
Chris.
movie starts weird and then falls off hard because you can forgive or at least find funny a lot of the beginning of this, but the fact that you get onto that money plane and it's that there's that few people on it, it feels so weird and off.
It's
from
like
what your expectations are set at.
it's like the Willy Wonka world that went
Yeah.
viral.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
In the UK.
Yeah.
I was trying to quickly figure out why was this movie even made. I couldn't really find that. The only thing I found was an anecdote about how the plane wasn't actually built while they were filming. They were filming in different corners that were finished as the set was being produced
Even
because
better.
of their time constraints.
True arts.
So that
Were the
that's
actors
a-
not suspicious? This doesn't seem right.
we call these write-off movies.
it's
boys.
we gotta cut. The laborers are here to put up the next couple of walls for
Yeah.
our money plane.
Yeah, let's take a quick hour lunch.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This movie is not good. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah. That's probably close.
There's some stuff about it that was funny, but it's just not very good, and it could have been. And yeah, that's really all I've got. It's why would you have all these actors in it too? Why Frasier? It's funny that it's Frasier, but
because it's funny.
why that? That's the whole thing of how did this happen? Why
Who was
this made?
responsible?
Maybe
for that?
Frasier wanted to expand his tone. He'd been Frasier for so long. He wanted to do something totally different, and this is totally different.
I recently played the High on Life game. There's a DLC
I played that.
for it.
Oh,
so,
not the DLC.
So High on Life, they have a bar that you go into at one point that's Cheers. Except it's called Cheeks, and it's
Yeah.
built underneath the ass of a giant alien.
Oh my
And
God.
Frasier is at that bar.
Just
And,
Frasier straight
and,
up.
and they're just straight up and we have Frasier, and we didn't even ask him. We're just putting him in the game.
Yeah.
That's a nice callback to this.
Yeah. Full circle.
Hmm.
Mason.
So I kind of enjoyed all of this movie's derpiness. I mean, I think that it's I don't know. I think me and Price are just different when it comes to bad movies that are trying to be bad versus bad movies that are somewhat redeemable or they do hit a few of those marks. I think Nathan nailed it when he said that this could actually be a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got the skeleton of it, and it's just so dry.
But it's not.
It's not. It's not as good as I would like for it to be.
Mm.
But I do think that all of it's silly, the electrocution thing that makes no real sense because I could back up against that TV and eventually I'm gonna get electrocuted.
Servers though.
Yeah, it's servers. Just gotta stay away from them. It's just really dumb stuff like that. The McGillicuddy ongoing joke. They kept saying his name and it
Yes,
never
they
made
did.
any
Yeah.
sense. That might be beating a dead horse, but that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna land at a 6. I think that this movie is fun in some regard along the way, but it could have been so much better.
Yeah.
I wish it was better, but I don't think it was one of the worst heist movies I've ever seen.
No. I saw Snatch one time. That movie.
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Ugh. Let's never talk about that movie again on this podcast. This would be the ironic captions of all the links and times we've talked about Snatch and with such glowing favor.
In the index.
Yeah. But we don't have that kind of budget, and Nathan doesn't have that kind of time. So, much like Money Plane, so full circle. Are we the Money Plane after all? No, Mason's absolutely right. This is a definitive 6. Yeah. This is a bad movie that I have a good time with, and does have promise and showings of, like, could be actually kind of good movie if there was, like, real budget, real actors, real story. Now, I know that's a lot of what makes a movie,
He could have
but
still stayed B.
yeah, even to be fair, it could have still been B with, like, this could have been a 2-hour movie with, like, showing flashbacks of Brazil and a little bit of, like, more gambling stuff. Give us a little Casino Royale.
I don't
in the
think they
middle
had
of
the
this.
budget for a highlight
They
or a
didn't.
flashback if they could have tried.
No.
You know,
It would have been even funny if they had, like, literally gone into, like, the woods, because this was done in Baton Rouge. So
Okay,
they
yeah.
if they had gone into, like, the local woods and just been like, this is Brazil,
Yeah,
you know?
very
Like-
clearly the
Yes.
American woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, just like all of the eye rolling too. Like even when at the very end they decide to go to charity. What do you guys think? UNICEF, United Way,
Yes.
pay it back to all these people who did all of this terrible harm.
Right.
Like it's just like
The on-the-nose
you can't-
commentary.
Exactly.
It's
you
almost
can't-
like the Barbie monologue.
Yeah.
Where she's like, yeah, men are the problem, and like feminism, rise up. And you're like, okay,
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's
You're just
exactly
talking
what
to
she
us
said,
now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Price watching Barbie is a whole different discussion. So
I'll talk your ear off about it. We can do
Maybe
it.
we'll put it
I'll
on the
share.
wheel at some point.
yeah, put it on the wheel. So anyways, yeah, this movie's a definitive 6 for that reason. It's a movie that, like, 6.5 I would have had a little bit more fun. There would have been a couple more good laughs,
Yeah.
or like they explored a concept a little better.
Continuity, maybe.
Yeah, any sense of continuity. Most of these points got honestly, the movie crashes into Kelsey Grammer. It's immediately a 7. You know,
Oh God, yeah.
if they show it, it's a 7+. If they remember me, tone us, and then just wrap the movie like that, it probably goes into me and Mason's top 5. But you know, it doesn't do some of these things. But the fact I can see the opportunity of if they have this moment,
But
the
it's
score
not.
jumps up.
Why do you all keep saying
Because
that?
there's fun in
Who
seeing.
Christ.
cares?
We care about it. We care
Why?
about what
Guys,
movie
don't
could
be
have
sad it's over.
Yes.
Just be glad that it happened.
That
Thank
doesn't
you.
even apply.
Thank you. It's a 6, boys. Don't
like
let
it
me-
Spin that wheel!
Yeah.
It
let's
could have
do
been
that.
awesome if
You know what?
if Robert Pattinson.
You heard it here first.
We go on for so long on that one.
Tick 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 tick.
4-player.
4-player game.
Oh, all right.
All right.
The wheel's spoken.
Well,
Next time
There
is
we
a
go.
game hanging.
That's
The
what
wheel
we're gonna
demands.
be doing.
We did too many movies too close stacked to each other. We're going back to what we love.
We're doing this again.
Yeah.
That's what it hit.
We
It's
like just did it.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Oh, and it was a good
it
time.
was a good time, Bryce.
It was if Dylan knew how to serve.
Whoa, fuck you. Whoa, you
All right,
ruined my
all right.
restaurant. You
I
ruined
blame
it.
Nathan's
I'm not
audio
reacting
mixer.
to
If you know how to serve, we.
Oh, all right. Could you imagine? We get 2 games going.
Uh-huh.
We have them streamed simultaneously,
Okay.
and it's like me and Price versus like
Oh my
Dylan and Mason
God.
or something like that.
That'd be
Oh,
a
yeah.
slaughter.
Oh my god. Me and me and
Dylan,
Mason
you have to
have
show
a-
me how to use a cooktop.
Yeah, I don't know how to cook.
I mean, I don't know how
I
we
know how to run
divide-
the
You know,
fronts.
really, what we do is we put Dylan and Price together.
Yeah.
That
was a good point.
I will eat your babies.
I had to carry Price up the hill already on the trivia time. I have to get somebody who knows how to
You
run
did.
the kitchen.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. 'Cause Nathan's never served.
Yeah.
I've never cooked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's an unfair yeah, anyways.
Anyway, we'll work this
We'll
out.
figure out game
we'll probably
podcast
see a
next
live
time.
stream of this.
You'll see a live stream. Stay tuned. It may be out of the...
It'll probably be out of
Time
It
was-
will.
Yeah, out of the timeline of our F movie cast, you're going to be... You look backwards.
You're gonna say, why is this popping up on my subscription feed?
Yeah. Anyways, if you like all the content we're doing, let us know in the comments below. What did you think? Did you want to see the plane crashing? Did you want to see Robert Pattinson in this movie? I kind of did. Let us know in the comments below. Did you want to see people hang dong and or just more nudity? Frankly, just more nudity would have made it a
Chelsea
strong
Grammer.
Yeah.
Butt ass naked.
But gets out, smoking a cigar, dong, full
Yeah.
dong. Yeah.
I'm the baddest motherfucker.
That
Yeah.
that actually probably would have changed the ratings.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
yeah, see?
That's different.
If a movie can inspire
That's
hope, it
different.
can't be that bad. That's my take on it. Anyways, let us know in the comments below what you guys thought. Make sure to give us a big fat like if you continue to like the content we're doing. Make sure if our lighting is good and everything like that. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so that...
Oh.
Can you do that?
Can you do it?
Yeah, so that whenever we upload all this great content, and sometimes when our video game content comes out ahead of the schedule whenever you're watching this in canon. Anyways, until next time, make sure to check us out on the live streams and on the channel. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye!
Bye bye. Did you put that little effing logo at the top left? I never even noticed that.
Yeah, it's been on there for a while
That's been
now.
up No, that looks
I
good.
feel
I don't
like
know
that's
why.
a good way of making it clear.
That's
Yeah.
ours.
Like
Yeah.
it's like
No, I like it.
just having that.